Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Sorry I haven't posted all day. You guys know usually when that happens, there's something going on. Unfortunately, most of the time, and sadly this time there was something going on. I spent most of the night. I didn't get home till 5 o'clock in the morning this morning. I've been trying to catch up on sleep all day. Just of course, in this environment, it's not happening. So forgive me for looking a little run through and tired. Margie and I were up all night at not one but two emergency vets. Rocket. So anyway, you guys know our little buddy Tokyo. He, he's had a hard time lately. He, about 6-8 weeks ago, he started dropping weight pretty quickly, and we've taken him in numerous times to have blood work done. We've even had X-rays done, trying to figure out, what's going on because his blood levels off a little bit, kidney values, etc. Slight anemia, and we couldn't get any answers to it from my normal vet. But one of the things we had to do is we had to try to put weight back on him because one of the things we were afraid of was that his dental was so bad that the infection could be causing something, systemic in his body. So that went off without a hitch, and unfortunately, though, he also ended up losing the one lens that we put in from his cataract surgery during this time period too. And I don't know if that's related or not, but basically we sent that off, as I mentioned, to a university, and they said it had ruptured out of the lens sac, I guess. And there was nothing really we could do. That's just one of those unforeseen things, a small percentage of a chance that it happens after you have the surgery, but in his case it did, possibly because he was worn down. But no cancer or anything, so that's good. He was healing up and actually starting to eat again, and everything was doing well. And then yesterday afternoon, it was late evening actually, I was at the gym, and I got home, and he had actually thrown up before I got home. Now, nobody told me this, but not because, they didn't want to tell me, but, it's minor. Dogs throw up every once in a while around here, and we don't, we get around to it unless we notice additional symptoms. And the throw up was dark, not like it was his food. It was very dark, and it smelled like vomit. So anyway, we're in the garage talking, wrapping up for the night, and I walk inside the house, and he's sitting in the mudroom, and his little bed's there, and he looks like he's stretched out halfway across the bed onto the floor. And I wouldn't have thought twice of it, except for, as I looked, I did a double take because there was another, what looked to be a pile of throw up or diarrhea or something next to the side of his body. And upon a closer inspection, that's when I went back and looked at it some more. It was very dark, and this one smelled like iron. It was bloody. We found that out later because the moment I went back and looked at the throw up, I noticed that he wasn't actually stretched out just like stretching on the floor. He literally was stiff, rigid, almost as if a seizure, and as I went to approach him, he fell over sideways, conked his head on the floor, and he did knock himself out or anything. But clearly something wasn't right or normal. Pinches, you can't do that right now, sweetheart, okay? You can't. And upon picking him up, our first thought is seizures, even though he's never had a seizure before. Sorry, Mousy, sweetheart. And of course, with a seizure, you try to get CBD in your mouth. And this was typical. I couldn't get his jaw open. Finally, when I got it pried apart to get the CBD in his mouth, we noticed that his tongue and his gums were just ghost white, no color at all. So, we made the decision real quick to go to the emergency vet. We're 5 minutes from the vet, the one that I normally go to, and 30 minutes away is the closest one. Call in to let them know I'm coming because they still are under those damn COVID protocol rules. I want to make sure that somebody would be able to meet me at the door. Well, it turns out they're at capacity. So that ended up turning out to be a blessing in disguise, but they said there's another emergency vet 5 minutes away. And, we went to them, but what they didn't tell me is that emergency vet, as good as they are, they're not a 24-hour care facility. So they could only treat him until midnight if necessary, and then I have to find another vet to transfer him to if he needed to stay. So he was coherent at this whole time. It seemed as if his color was coming back in his gums a little bit. I was on the fence. We called the other vet when we got there, and that's when we found out that they're not 24 hours. And they said, well, here's the options. We can have him look at it or whatever, or you can just take him straight somewhere else. And I said, shit, I just don't know what to do. And she said, well, I'll come out and look at him. And she literally opened the door, looked at him for 2 seconds, and I got to take him in. So that terrified me right there. So sure enough, they take him in, they do everything they can for him. But basically by midnight, what we've determined, they got baseline information on him, but we had to get him an IV catheter and all that, but we had to get him to a 24-hour care facility. So, and they did a wonderful job at this place. I really like this place. I'm going to start using them as an option from now on for sure. Because they're also linked to my orthopedic surgeon, which is where Buggy had her leg surgery done. So they're all part of the same building. So that was really cool to find that out. So anyway, the best news about this is that the place that's closest that I trust, that's able to care for Tokyo, happens to be the Life Center, which is 45 minutes from where this place was. But this is also where my cardiologist, my neurologist, my internal medicine specialist, my radiologist, who else? my cardiac surgeon. All of these people are in this building, so I'm very familiar with the staff because they're all kind of linked together and so forth. And the neat thing is about both of these places is they know who I am. Many of them follow the page. So you get a really great bedside manner and everything. So they've made everything so wonderful so far. Anyway, here we are 24 hours later. Tokyo is still in the emergency vet. He's going to be there until at least tomorrow. We've done everything we can. We've had, again, more x-rays done. We've had blood work out the wazoo. We've done ultrasound. And I mean, we've even gone so far as to try to figure out, like, we've had everybody for the last few months on this new meal plan. We're checking things in the food itself to make sure that, we've even gone so far as to say, wow, this stuff has brown rice in it. It's brown rice, because brown rice is naturally amasses both organic and non-organic arsenic in it through growth and pesticides. And brown rice holds 80% more than white rice. Is it possible that he's got arsenic poisoning? Like, you should see the way we've been just kind of like literally just trying to run everything to ground here. We don't have any answers. He's stable. He had to have a blood transfusion. Ruru, stop it. Ruru, Rocket, come on. So anyway, he had to have a blood transfusion. And earlier today, his red blood cell percentage was back up to 20%, which is borderline. It's pretty bad. And they were thinking they're going to have to do another transfusion later. But they just called me back about an hour ago and let me know that he's up to 23% count, which isn't great, but he's showing improvement. He is eating. He will take walks outdoors and everything like that. But we're having an internal medicine specialist see him tomorrow, just because we got to figure out what the hell's going on. And this isn't just like a normal vet doing this, man. This is like an emergency vet with all the tools there, and it's a specialist with every kind of specialist you can think of in there. And we got to get to the bottom of this. So. I was tired all day. I didn't feel like posting, so I do apologize for that. Plus, I didn't have any answers for everybody. I was hoping to actually have him back by now and tell you the story after the fact, but unfortunately, it's not going to work out that way. So I need prayers for Tokyo. I mean, these kind of situations come up. They're definitely trying on your they wear on you. Of course, they're a financial burden. This is already up to, I think we're over $5,000 already for just since last night. It's one heck of a way to spend $5,000 in 24 hours. So yeah, the whole thing's been very taxing and all that. But the one neat thing is, and this is thanks to you guys, through the fundraising that we do, and especially through the CBD and health products that we do, that's able to fund situations like this to where money is no object. And I don't say that like frivolously, but every vet that I go to knows you do everything possible. There is no quit. There is no compromise. There is no quality of life. There is make my babies better. Do everything you possibly can. And everybody has adopted on that mentality at each one of these places, and I absolutely adore and love every one of them for that. So all of you guys at the vets and the emergency vets that we've been dealing with, thank you so much for your dedication and I guess respect on my beliefs on that. So I will give you an update on Tokyo as soon as we know. Prayers for him. I mean, he's a strong little guy, but he's very weak and frail, as you guys have seen lately. And we got to try to get to the bottom of this. So let me just say, his symptoms, the kidney values kind of all over the place. The weight loss, the blood and the vomit. Turns out they're almost certain that has to do with a gastric ulcer, and then of course the anemia. Now all of these themselves, you can say one thing's causing the other, but no, they actually think that all four of these things and a couple other things are all symptoms of something much greater. So, and that they might not even be completely connected, because they are saying that, as we've been told before, that there is some degree of kidney failure going on in him. I just haven't gotten anybody to give me any kind of clear-cut treatment path for it yet. So hold your comments on that and stuff, because I want to get it from my vet first, and then we can certainly compare notes and comments and follow-up posts. But yeah, I just don't have any answers yet. So it's just been very stressful. You guys know me. I'm a nervous wreck when this kind of shit happens. So. And the last thing I want to do is get on the page, and I don't even want to post, because if somebody's going to say a comment that pisses me off, I can really belittle myself and lower myself to a level that you guys don't want to see, and it's only because I'm just so stressed out and concerned. It has nothing to do with that. So what?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
You said you're rambling.
I'm sorry. I'm tired. So anyway, Breakfast Clubbers out. We're going to bed. Good night. Thank you guys. Have more information for y'all tomorrow.